Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre, hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Each episode, we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond, sometimes even from the beyond. You can find us on YouTube at Terror in Tandem, on Instagram at Terror in Tandem, and you'll always find our latest episode on our website, terrorintandem.com.
Hello, listeners.
Hello.
You know, we're 100 and something episodes into this, and I'm just wondering if it's confusing for people. In the intro, we have the same last name, and I just want to tell you folks out there, a little bit behind the curtain, it's because we are brother and sister.
Ew, we are not.
Flowers in the attic.
That's gross.
Hi.
I mean, it's not gross to have a brother or a sister.
Making
it's
unbroken
gross to be
eye
married.
contact when I say that.
Well, I said ew because we're married.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've taken a look around, but we're getting back to good old fashioned values in this country, so that's gonna mean less.
Anyway, you all know our backstory. We don't have to go
You
back
know
to it.
our lengthy, legendary tale, now in print,
We're
from Terror in
encroaching
Tandem
upon
Studios.
3 years of doing the pod.
For real?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Our first episode came out at the end of April in 2022.
Honestly, I've been a little distracted by how much my life has changed due to the income this has brought us.
Yeah, I know. But listen, everybody, we see you. We appreciate you.
We literally
Keep listening.
see you right now.
We're making more content for you as rapidly as once a week.
We see
mostly.
what you're doing, and it is shameful.
We have a list.
We sure do. No, we don't. Just kidding. Cash Patel. Ha ha ha.
We are very excited to talk about this episode because
this is a big one,
took
folks.
months
So
to prepare
long time.
because of someone's apprehension and procrastination. Not me.
Let's just say that one member of the terror team
Not me.
was a very brave young man.
Yeah. I mean,
A very courageous, stalwart young lad indeed that we can all count on
Well,
in times of eight-legged distress.
what we're going to talk about today is the horror of spiders. Spiders.
Spiders.
We did snakes, and now we're going to do spiders.
Skittering, eight-legged monstrosities.
I thought it would be fun to talk about some real-life spider encounters.
And I thought it would be fun to leave while you do that and then come
You have
back
to edit this
later.
episode.
I can do that. Oh, no, I do.
You do. So you're going to be alone in the headphones with skitterings.
Oh, boy.
Well, I thought it would be fun, so I'm doing it. So I have a couple of real-life spider encounters.
Oh, we should just mention, in case that hasn't come across, both beloved co-host and myself have a touch of the arachnophobia.
Yeah.
Just a smattering.
I don't like
tinge.
things crawling around.
Personally, my rule is the more legs something has, the worse it is. So it goes all the way up to millipedes being like the ultimate evil. But spiders, yeah, they're...
In anticipation for this episode, last night I had a nightmare about spiders.
Mm.
I was at someone's home, and I was like yard sailing some of their stuff, and I found this really nice coat, and I tried it on, and I took the coat off, and it was filled with big sacks of spiders. Not spider eggs, just big like clusters of small brown spiders. Not brown recluse spiders, because they're big and deadly. You don't want to look that image
I hate
up.
everything that you're saying right
You don't
now.
want to look up any images of certain spider bites, but
Hold
definitely
on a
not
second. Let me
brown
just-
recluse spider
Oh!
bites.
No, see, like, this is bad. This is terrible. I'm
Yeah,
done.
you're so brave,
I'm
though.
leaving.
So
Very brave young man.
let me share with you a couple real life. In Europe, there's been an unknown species of fungus, and this is kind of like a recent news story, that turns spiders into zombies.
Ah.
The fungus lures the spiders out of their webs before poisoning or like kind of paralyzing them and killing the spider. And then the fungus uses the spider corpse to spread the fungus spores. So this newly discovered species is called Gubellula
Oh, yeah.
attencorgi. It's like sort of like Attenborough,
We're
but
cutting all that.
you are?
I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce things, but you can look it up for yourself. And it's similar to the zombie ant fungus, if you're familiar with that.
I'm intimately familiar with it.
But scientists don't quite know how the fungus affects the spider brain. And the new fungus is part of a larger branch of fungi that exclusively affects spiders, only spiders. So it doesn't jump from humans.
Yet.
And it's mostly cave spiders. So
cave spiders. Oh, cave spiders. Those are two great words to put together with each other.
Another real life, just a regular town, a small little town in Colombia, reported to the BBC that a spider rain event occurred.
What? Is that REIGN?
No.
Oh.
RAIN.
Like Rainn Wilson? Oh, no.
That's double N.
No.
So when spiders migrate...
Spider rain, spider rain. Sorry.
When spiders migrate in mass, they can descend from the sky and onto the ground below. And they do this in a rain form. So like this entire Colombian town experienced like billions of spiders raining down on their town, and they mostly stayed indoors and were very unhappy about it. But it is a phenomenon that occurs.
They were muy triste.
Yeah.
About the Ocho's Lego. Taking that out.
A family in the UK discovered gigantic spider nest in their ceiling.
Ooh.
They found this after hearing strange noises of like chittering and squeaking.
Oi, Harold, you hear that from the attic?
And they found an unsettling number of spiders in their home. So when they found the nest, it had hundreds of baby spiders within it.
Quick question. How many is an unsettling number of spiders? Because it seems subjective. Like
Probably
for me,
like
it's one.
Couple hundred is
You
an
would need
unsettling amount.
You would need for the
To be unsettled, it's 100.
Interior house spider level reaching 100 before you're unsettled by it. I'm thinking like I see more than 2 and I'm like calling every exterminator.
Yeah, that's not an unsettling amount though.
That's 16 fucking legs right there.
And then finally, a man reported that an exploding spider invaded his home. What happened was the spider came into his home, and then it's a big giant spider, and it burst open and released hundreds of baby spiders all over his living room.
So like a suicide bomber?
So he kind of was very concerned about the wildlife of his area and how some big huge spider could come into his home and explode baby spiders everywhere.
I'd be concerned.
Yeah.
So what's with this trend of taking the scariest thing on earth and then like putting like attachments on it? Like what is this, like fucking Malibu Barbie for spiders? Like we're just gonna put fungus on this one and we're gonna...
I think you should all look up exploding spider because like a giant exploding spider, because it's really...
I'm in the middle. I'm going to look it up.
It's really frightening.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
So real life spiders are really scary. And some people handle them very differently.
And some people are very brave about it.
In Australia, they encounter large spiders very often.
I mean, it's like, so I have some family down there, and the way they just casually describe a Cadillac-sized spider that they shoot out of the fucking kitchen that morning, like it's Land of the Lost.
I will mention that of all of the research I did on some of these real life spider encounters, these aren't venomous.
No,
they're not dangerous spiders.
Like the
it's
ones
just
that are
more like
the
they're
ones that are
crawling
tiny
all over you and
are more dangerous, right? The small ones are the ones that get you.
Not always, but I mean, like Black Widow, yes,
Bleh. But
brown recluse is pretty bad. You don't want spiders,
but you do. They're very important.
Infesting.
No, I'm itchy everywhere.
Yeah, you should be.
Oh God.
But what we did we're going to do something a little different this episode.
Yes, because both of us are very brave. We decided instead of doing our own thing, we would watch the movies together.
Yeah, in solidarity.
Due to aforementioned courage.
So we're not bringing our own movies to this.
We're bringing together movies.
Yeah.
Remember, we share the same last name, folks.
We do.
We're blood related.
We share the same 4 legs.
Wait, what? So, God, before we get into it, I want to just recount. I don't know where my arachnophobia comes from because I've never ever liked spiders. I wasn't joking about the legs thing though. Like the more legs something has, the worse it is. But I've never liked spiders. However, I do know where my arachnophobia was solidified for all time. I was like 16 or 17 maybe, and I was at home. I was with my girlfriend at the time. Sorry. Yeah, well, whatever. It was before we met. And
Rude.
I felt like we were watching a movie, and I felt this tickling on my neck, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Ew.
I swear to God,
this is inappropriate.
Really thought in that moment, I'm like, oh, baby. So I look over and she's watching the movie, just staring straight ahead. And then I looked a little bit more and there was a leg on me. And I jumped up and screamed. It was a wolf spider. A big, brown, hairy motherfucker that was right on my neck parts, my exposed, fleshy neck parts. It didn't bite me because, like a man, I shrieked, threw my shirt off into a corner, stomped on it a bunch of times, continuing to shriek, because what a lot of people don't know is that if a man is encounters a spider, if you scream at a very high pitched tone, it paralyzes the spider. So it's a tactical move that we manly men deliberately make in these situations. So again, I'm shrieking and stomping on it shirtless, and the girl is just kind of staring at me and going, "What's happening here? This is taking a turn." And yeah. You know, that's I don't like spiders. Don't crawl on me, bro.
I mean, are you sure it was a wolf spider?
I mean, I had all I could do was identify the quick memory of seeing it on me and then the mashed bits that were in my shirt that I threw out after that. But yeah, it was a wolf spider, baby. Because that's the spider that was like around my area where I grew up. So are you looking at it right now?
Yeah,
the face you're making.
am.
Yeah, it was right on. Imagine that on me.
I think you should look it up.
I don't want to.
No, because I'm not sure if it was a wolf spider because...
I mean, are they native to where I grew up?
I don't know. They're
seamless edit. Oh, and you know, without taking any time at all right there, we have confirmed it was indeed a motherfucking wolf spider.
I don't know what kind. So when I was hanging out with my friend Colleen at her house with her mom and her sister.
Hi, Colleen.
We
know you listen.
Were just, chilling, and we saw this big, it really did look almost see-through in the body. This big, huge gray or silver spider. Huge. I mean, the body was the size of a fist, and her mom took off her shoe and threw it at the spider, and it bounced off its body and it went down a heating grate, never to be seen again.
The shoe?
No, the spider.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what kind of spider that was.
Listen, whenever I hear the word bulbous, I just think spider body.
Yeah.
It's a word I don't enjoy. Because the fatter like a spider's body is, I just think is pregnant with fucking billions of egg babies.
Yeah.
That's all I think is a spider booty is just bursting with babies.
Yeah. I
Booty
mean,
babies.
That's one of the things that we will talk about.
They have 8 vaginas.
They do?
That's commonly known.
Oh.
No, they don't. They don't have
I was trying to just
single
ignore
one.
you. I was just trying to ignore you and move on.
Spider vaginas.
Yeah, this has gone off the rails.
So why don't we get into some of these movies that we bravely watched with each other?
Yeah. So let's start in chronological order.
We didn't go that far back. I mean, brief mention to like the atomic era giant spider movies of like the 50s, like Tarantula and all that. I've seen those. They're goofy, they're fun, but we started a little in the modern times.
Yeah, I mean, we started with kind of the foundational spider horror movie, I guess.
The one you are all thinking about right now.
Yeah. Arachnophobia,
Absolutely.
which is also the fear of spiders.
It is, isn't it? Oh, I feel bad for people who have that.
This came out in 1990, directed by Frank Marshall, his directorial debut.
It was, yes. Now,
he'd been a longtime producer with Steven Spielberg.
He's a super producer.
Yeah.
He's a co-founder of
co-founder
of Amblin Entertainment, which produced this film. He's friends with Steven Spielberg and married a long time to Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah,
Spielberg's partner, and the lady we all can agree in the forums and online we really, really like and appreciate her Star Wars output. We just not at all controversial.
This is not a poo-poo on people.
No one is upset about Star Wars.
And son to Gary Marshall.
Is he?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind.
That's Penny Marshall, and she's a daughter.
Because you can't have more than one kid?
But I'm saying I don't think Penny and Frank Marshall are related to each other. But he is married to Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starring Jeff Daniels, John Goodman, and Harley Jane Kozak.
And Julian Sands.
Yes,
Rest
of course.
in peace,
right.
King.
I know.
Miss you, Wishmaster. No, he was the warlock. Excuse me.
One common theme that we found in these movies that we're going to talk about, most of them anyway.
Are spiders.
2 out of the 3 is messing. Well, I guess all 3. Messing where you shouldn't be messing.
Oh, the spider infestation movie, the commonality in all of the movies we watched and in a bunch of the movies that we've seen or I've seen that I'm not going to mention, it is universal, nearly universal, that it's meddling where you shouldn't. Like going into the jungle, picking out a spider, bringing it to ordered, structured, suburban or urban life, and it's basically introducing an invasive species into the ecosystem and watching what happens. Yeah. Which is bad. It's bad. It's bad.
Arachnophobia was released in 1990, as I mentioned, and it did really well at the box office.
I remember when this movie came out, it was all anyone talked about. It was huge. And John Avlin did the fucking iconic poster.
Just a disclaimer here to let everybody know, Richard nor I never saw this movie until we watched it for this episode.
Since 1990,
we've avoided
I have been putting off watching this movie. It's, a glaring gap in my movie watching history. It came out when I was, a kid, and it was like a really big part of the culture that year. It was like a huge phenomenon, and I have actively fucking avoided it ever since.
So I just wanted to share that this movie is a commercial success. It had a budget of $22 million. When it was released in 1990, it debuted at the 3rd spot in the box office, earned $8 million opening weekend, $53 million overall, and earned $30 million additional in home video rentals. That's huge for a spider comedy.
Horror comedy, which this very much is. And it got great reviews. I remember Siskel and Ebert really liked it, and it was like
the
really
critics'
well-received.
review is in the 80s, and I think the audience review is in the 50s, but it has a very huge cult following. People, by and large, love this movie.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we love this movie.
This movie is so fucking good.
It's so delightful.
It really is.
I know that's a weird thing to say, but it really is. And it's disgusting.
It's very much an Amblin movie, though. Yeah. It's like got a sense of adventure and dark, like fairy tale element to it. A little bit of dark whimsy. It's like a little bit of Goonies, a little bit of E.T.
A lot of that comes from Jeff Daniels and John Goodman.
They're so good.
And
Jeff Daniels won a Saturn Award for this, I believe.
The spiders. The spiders were real, everyone. They were real.
So everyone in that movie had to deal with real fucking spiders.
I'll get into kind of some fast facts about it, but when a scientist team led by Julian Sands discover a new and deadly species of spider in Venezuela, the photographer that's on kind of site with them, that's from this town, Canemia, California, which is a fake town, the spider hauls a ride with him. He,
it's amazing.
Jumps in, but he dies.
It's
he gets
so
bit.
Goofy.
He dies. They build a coffin for him. The spider
hitches
a ride,
that actor
stows away. It's hilarious.
I'm almost positive he was one of the corporate goons from inner space.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And so now it comes to this small town in California, and it becomes overrun with these killer spiders because this species of spider immediately mates with a common barn spider.
Show it too.
Yeah,
There's like a fucking
it's like an intimate
spider sex scene.
This
huge mutant spider, like just straight up raw dogs a local, piece, and they immediately have little hybrid spider babies. This is why your parents are worried about that boy you just brought home.
So, with this birth comes a pregnant spider.
With this birth,
thou
shalt have.
So with this mating ritual, this spider becomes pregnant and has to go and protect a ginormous sack of eggs. It's the sack of eggs, people. Sack of eggs people forget about. We will learn in one of the movies we did watch that we are also going to talk about. You forgot to look for the sack of eggs. When you think of spiders, you think of the sack of eggs.
Ladies,
you must.
Ladies,
yes?
Don't forget the sack.
Don't forget the sack of eggs. So the sack of eggs becomes a major plot point in this film.
I'm hoping so.
But some of the fattest
facts.
Some of the facts are, I said, Frank Marshall's debut film. The original script was much more horror and less comedy. Then it got a rewrite.
I'd like to see that because I like horror, but damn, this movie was so... I know, like, it gives you pause when you think it's also funny, but it legit is. It's not
really
just funny, but it's like really entertaining.
Fun. Yeah.
It's a very fun, in that 80s way that I feel like we've sort of lost a bit in modern movies. It's just very fun.
Yeah. The big spider was named Big Bob after Robert Zemeckis. They named him.
Oh, that's nice.
And then to cast the right kind of spiders, Frank Marshall evaluated a lot of different species of spiders and put them through 10 different tests, including speed, climbing ability, and reaction to temperature.
Which
they
was
called
a whole
this the
new
Spider Olympics on set.
Part of central casting that didn't exist before.
The winner was the 3-inch wide Delinia spider, and they had to bring 300 of these spiders to the U.S. for filming, and they had supplies come in every couple of weeks of additional spiders. So
why? What happened to the old spiders?
Nothing. They just kept growing. More spiders were being used.
As Frank Marshall waved his hands around, screaming, "More spiders!"
Yes. To keep the spiders in a relatively contained area, they were put to sleep with carbon dioxide, and they had tiny monofilament leashes attached by wax to their abdomens.
This is honestly how you put me to sleep at night.
They also corralled them with hair dryers to keep them running in the one direction.
Tiny spider leashes?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's actually kind of cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. And no spiders were killed during production. Any spiders that died from natural causes, according to the spider coroner.
Jeez, these spiders was dead when I got here.
No, but seriously, this film, one of the benefits from this film is you have this small town filled with wacky people. You have invaders coming from the big city, AKA Jeff Daniels' character and his family. He's like this new big city doctor coming in to take over because the old doctor is supposedly retiring. And then you have the invasion of these spiders. So it's a real kind of commentary on how small towns are resistant to change and like invading them and what happens when, something from the outside comes in. And then it has all your favorite small town characters and quirks.
It's like Gremlins with spiders, basically. Yeah. Now, shout out to John Goodman in this movie, who is a real fucking standout. Delbert is he's
an exterminator of all exterminators.
I'm sad I haven't seen this movie till now because Delbert is a horror movie hero for the ages. This guy is unflappable. He shows up fucking ready to rock.
Yeah.
He's prepared for the assignment. He cannot be shaken. Like the guy really, he saves the day basically, and he's Delbert.
Yeah.
He's fucking Delbert, man. Just squashing bugs.
Exactly. And he does his job well. And
John Goodman.
John Goodman was not afraid of spiders at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. It must have been helpful making this movie.
Jeff Daniels was afraid and still probably is afraid of spiders.
I'm still pretty afraid. Even after watching all this spider content in a short period of time, like I don't feel desensitized to it.
But it has kind of that Beetlejuice vibe of like the,
It's dark and it's funny.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people die in it, but it's also funny.
Yes, it is. And it's kind of justifiable.
And like some of the spiders jump like great distances, and then they've got like the POV spider shot, which is great, where you see like the person's face just screaming.
It's not scary, but it is gross.
Cringy.
Because of all the spiders.
And there's a lot of goop, man.
Of course, the denouement of the spider egg sac.
Oh man.
Because that has to be in a cool, dark, and like somewhat moist environment, and it takes a lot to destroy it, and what the mother spider will do to protect her egg sac.
Christ, this movie is so good. I cannot recommend it enough.
We really enjoyed it.
It's such a blast. And 35 years later, it is a banger. It really not only holds up, but like I think it's better. It was superior than a lot of modern shit I've seen. It's a fucking classic.
I think what it benefits from too is that it really makes your fear of spiders as silly as the tone of the movie.
There's a whole lot of people pulling limbs away right at the last second.
Yeah.
As like a spider's, they don't know it's there. Yeah, like dramatic irony of move your hand. It plays into this a lot. Like, oh God, it's right there.
So, I mean, it's similar to the town in Colombia that had the spider rain. Like, what would happen if your entire town became infested with deadly spiders?
Purple spider rain.
Yeah, and nobody was taking you seriously because you're not from the town and you're a big city doctor.
Or you're calling the authorities screaming about billions of spiders raining down from the sky, and they're just like, all right.
This is an amazing intro to spider movie. If you've been avoiding it like us, I would say give it a watch. You'll love it.
Yeah, it's just scary enough to make it a horror movie, but it is a little friendly and it's fun. And I don't know, some movies, they can just get away with being a little goofy. This movie's a little goofy, but it is one of the strengths of it, honestly, is that it's kind of a silly movie. I have nothing but good things to say. Frank Marshall also directed Alive, which I've seen, but not in a long time. I remember really liking it, but then he directed some movies that weren't as good. Yeah. And now he's just kind of a producer.
Well, I would give this 6 out of 8 spider legs.
Oof.
Let's take a break.
Let's do it. Getting away with literal murder takes skills, and baby, you've got them. But when it comes to crafting the perfect costume, well, let's just say your talents lie elsewhere. Maybe mommy never taught you to sew before you killed her and stole her face. Maybe you have knives for hands or husky meat paws, perfect for bashing campers, but not so great at threading a needle. But that doesn't mean you don't deserve to look cool. So come on down to Tears of a Clown Makeup and Costume Emporium and treat yourself to the obscene makeover your parents always suspected was hiding just beneath the surface. At Tears of a Clown Makeup and Costume Emporium, we look past your tired flesh suit to bring out the real you. Working together to determine your nightmare-inducing look, our team of sartorial sadists will assist you with all the fittings, measurements, and elective surgeries. So save your creativity for your ironic kill tableaus. From sloppy clown fits to demonic priest and everything in between, we guarantee a look to satisfy the monster within. If you're unhappy with your look, come on back in and we'll straight up kill you. Be sure to ask about our Cenobite special. Get one half of your head riveted with nails, get the other half free. This is a fake ad for a fake product on a horror-themed podcast. Dressing up is cool, hurting people is not. Seriously, I shouldn't have to tell you this.
back.
Ooh, I have been nonstop, like scratching and just rubbing my arms, and
What a brave boy.
I've been really brave.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
let's
by the way,
jump into
not
our-
a lot of people have said that except me, who said it a lot, but I really appreciate that.
Let's jump into our next one, which probably required the most bravery of both of us.
We started with this one, didn't we?
We did. And it is the scariest one of our list.
I would say there are 3 out of the 3 movies we did. There's the funnest, which is Arachnophobia. There's the
scariest, which we're going to talk about.
and then there's the silly one, which is still really good.
Silly, scary.
It's definitely like the most like absurd.
Yeah. But like,
this next
I will
piece,
definitely watch the second when it comes out.
This next piece is a straight up horror
so
movie.
scary.
Very
scary.
horror.
Very scary.
We're talking 2023's French film Infested.
Or Vermines.
I was going to say Vermine.
Vermines.
Vermine. Nasty.
Yeah, it's a French language horror film. Shudder
It's
exclusive.
It's on Shudder. It was directed by, it's the directorial debut of Sébastien Venisek, who is has gone on. He's developing now a new Evil Dead movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone's followed this, but Bruce Campbell has been really open about the new Evil Dead project. And there are 2 that are being produced simultaneously now, and he's doing one of them. So after seeing Infested, he's got the goods, man, to make a terrifying, fucking contained horror movie. Mm-hmm. Let's get into it.
So the plot of this is somewhere in the desert, a group of Arab men travel to find spiders.
Yeah, it's got that like really great, like it kind of reminded me of the beginning of The Exorcist, taking place like in Iraq or something like that.
It's the etymology of the specific spider, and they dig a hole, they
walking
smoke
around.
it out, and that spider jumps, bites the guy in the neck, and he immediately dies. Well, he starts to die, and a machete blow
these spiders
ends it for him.
Are like super fast, super aggressive.
But they capture them anyway.
And they
knowing
kill...
what they can do, they capture them in these like plasticky containers, like Tupperware containers.
Oh, like the same you get like raspberries in at the grocery store.
To
like
sell
that.
at the black market.
Yep.
So cut to when we're in France, and we meet Caleb, played by Theo Christine.
Sure.
I think that's his name. He's a hustler. He likes to sell like mainly sneakers to the residents of the housing development he lives in. And he has a kind of collection of reptiles and other creatures in his apartment because his whole hope was, with his childhood best friend, to open up their own
reptile museum,
pet store.
Yeah, it was going to be a reptile like zoo.
Yeah. So he buys this spider along with some sneakers, and he puts it in a box in his room. And the spider chews out of the box and, basically takes over this entire kind of rundown tenement type
it's
housing.
It's a lot like if you've seen The Raid, or Dread, or Assault on Precinct 13. It's like a siege movie.
Yes.
But with spiders. So yeah,
the spider is named Rihanna, which is also the other
amazing
thing to note.
Caleb is a lonely dude.
Yeah. And she lays eggs. Like, that's the thing. The eggs, people. She lays eggs everywhere.
What's amazing also is this shit escalates so fucking fast.
Yeah.
It goes from like 0 to apocalypse almost right away,
because that's what we don't see when they are in the desert.
Yes.
Smoking them out of holes.
You don't see the underground colonies that they
how
created.
They live, how they create
so
webs,
when they do it in
how
this
they
building,
create cocoons.
Yeah, you see everything. It's a terrifying movie. The death that it causes and then like what happens afterwards, spoiler, is fucking horrific. What it does to people, the way it's terrible for the characters who, as the movie goes on, they're starting to see and learn more and more about how the spider deals with its victims, and it becomes worse and worse and worse.
And they get bigger. the certain spiders they grow.
They grow quickly.
Very quickly. So the death happens quickly. They grow quickly. They hatch quickly. And the other piece to the puzzle, which I don't think was as successful as the interior, was what was happening on the exterior, which is the police show up.
Hard disagree.
And the army, I guess, shows up, and they basically keep the people in the building. Well, they won't let them leave.
Yeah, the cops show up and they quarantine the building because if any of these spiders get out, it's going to fuck up the rest. It takes place in Paris. It's very densely populated. So
But they don't care about the people, the residents inside, because they're poor.
You've met cops, right?
Yeah,
they do what cops do, which is protect property in the state. So they keep the people inside, and they're just hoping that they'll all die off, and then they'll kind of go in. There is like one or two cops that you can tell they're trying to do their best, but it's just an inhumane system. So as these people are trying to escape from the spiders, they're met with, the cold, hard reality that they deal with every other day.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I mean by it's not as successful as the terror inside and the friendship and like sacrificing relationships and their lives for each other to like get to safety. That was super successful. But on the outside, I know the director really wanted to make a commentary on the socioeconomic struggles of
everyone's
people
so
in
fucking
France
woke now, right? Jeez.
But you know what I mean? Like
I guess I really disagree though. I think it was really well done.
I think it was well done too.
That's the natural. Personally, that's the having lived through COVID and the American response to it. When bad things happen now, I do not expect that the authorities will come and have my best interests at heart. I think they will come and do what these people did.
Of course. Yeah. But I think the fear inside of the building and the struggles and everything that happened there, we see a little bit more about this friendship of these two once best friends, what happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good character development in this tight movie. But it reminded me a bit of like the ending of Night of the Living Dead, where you suffer through horrific, unimaginable terrors, and then you're confronted with just the mundane bigotry and stupidity of mankind. It's like, fuck, I just fucking went through all of this, and now I got to deal with you people. And it's really for me, it's not as immediate as the terror, but it magnifies the bleakness of it all. Of like, I just ran through a building of nightmare spiders, and I'm gonna die by police officer.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, if
so
they survive,
banal.
We don't know that.
Yeah, so it's I thought it was a nice element to add on there.
Well, I will say that spiders do not discriminate.
They sure don't.
So
spiders also ACAB.
Yeah, and one of the scariest things of putting a shoe on and having a spider in there does happen.
And also arachnophobia, and I'll never forget that was in the trailer.
Yeah,
this slipper part.
Yeah.
So when that happened in the movie, I'm like, I know what this is.
Couldn't have happened to a better character though. That character was a jerk.
That was amazing. But I'm never putting shoes on again, man. Don't just out there, people. You're just fucking putting things on your feet without looking. Are you out of your minds? Anything could be in there. Anything. Look. Folks, if there's one thing you remember from this, look in your shoes.
But what I think is really interesting about this is that this spider that originally came from the desert, the real goal is just to like explode eggs everywhere and have these eggs hatch, and then those eggs hatch, and it's a lot. It's a lot of spiders. It's a lot of fast moving spiders. It is a lot of webs.
There's also a really great element.
There's a lot of goo.
It's sort of understood by the havoc these things wreak in a short amount of time that, the only thing that's kept us safe is that they live underground in the middle of an inhospitable desert. Yeah. If they were like around, we would not be top of the food chain anymore. And so it's got that element of like nature horror, but also a little cosmic horror of like, if you dig into the secret, hidden, dark parts of the world, you might find something very ancient and uncontrollable.
So for the fear factor of this film,
10 out of 10, man. Oh my God.
I'm giving it 7 out of 8 spider legs.
Full spider for me. This was a terrifying movie.
It was very terrifying.
And I was like,
I can't give it a perfect score.
I looked like I was crunched like a dead spider. I was just all curled up with my legs in the air.
He had a very strict border of like
no touching.
Physical contact.
No, I told you the wolf spider anecdote that you made me look up. I fucking no touching when we're watching spider movies. No, folks, no touching.
Well, speaking of a little cosmic-y, let's go into our last
one, which is
the most recent that just came out. It's an Australian film.
It's a bit silly, but I don't mean that with any shade because I really enjoyed this movie as well. All three of the movies we watched were great.
And we're not talking about multiple spiders here.
No.
We're talking about one spider that grows and grows and grows.
So Infested is aliens with the billions of spiders, and
but
this movie
not
is
aliens.
No, but this movie is Alien, the first movie, because there's only one. So if you're going like
but
aliens,
I think you're confusing it.
I'm not. Well, Infested also had Infested the movie series Aliens. Everyone, the xenomorph. That's what I'm talking about. It has an element of it that's very similar to Aliens.
Okay.
But if Infested
this spider is actually comes from
outer space. In a very fun opening sequence.
It really is fun.
It's kind of cool.
And the main character, it's written and directed by Kaya Roche Turner. He's a director I'm not quite familiar with. Australian, 2024, starring Aaliyah Brown as Charlotte and Ryan Core as Ethan and some other characters.
A little Easter egg, little spider egg there. For
a
Easter
little
spider
Charlotte.
Egg. Little Easter sack.
So 12-year-old Charlotte, she lives in an apartment building with her stepfather, Ethan, her mother, and her little brother.
And her two Nazi aunts.
Yeah. And she's kind of a precocious girl, and she just is a good artist, and her father works to fix up the building. He's a maintenance man, but he also is an artist too.
He's a comic book artist, specifically.
She finds this tiny spider, which we see crash land
from space
in her aunt's apartment.
It's a space spider.
And she decides to keep it and name it Sting. Not after...
Oh, Golden Sumner?
Right. Not after that, but after what they can do. And she starts to feed it some animals.
Oh, yeah. First she feeds... What does she feed it, Laura?
I don't want to talk about it.
At first she feeds it cockroaches. Yeah. And this thing eats with gusto.
And it grows
so quickly
at an alarming rate. And she
at like an extraterrestrial rate.
She engages with this weird kind of like, I don't know what he is.
So the other part of this movie is that
weird lab
this
tech.
Building is filled with like David Lynch style weirdo characters.
It's like a nightmare building, but not like the Infested nightmare building. It's like dark and there's a winter storm happening.
Infested was very much like real. It was very gritty. It showed urban like Section 8 type housing as it kind of is. This movie is very much it's like an apartment. It's supposed to take place in Brooklyn, I think. And
it's like a slumlords.
And there's a storm.
Building.
There's a winter storm that lasts like 4 days.
Yeah,
it's kind of a fairy
they're
tale.
Stuck
but
inside.
like the building is filled with like two old German ladies. One of them is definitely a Nazi,
and one has dementia, and that's her grandmother.
And then there's like a weird, creepy biology student who's like,
is he though? Like, we don't really know if he's a student. It doesn't much matter. He acts like it, and he takes the spider for a little while and puts it in a big terrarium.
It's like a whole menagerie of weird neighbors.
But he decides to feed it non-insects.
No.
He starts feeding it rats and bunnies.
Yeah, goes full Renfield on the thing.
The spider's insatiable appetite and its exponential growth makes it into this huge predator.
Yeah, mega spider.
And the other thing about this building is it has the largest heating grids and vents that I've ever seen.
Gonna give it that. Yeah.
In a building.
I understand that when you're filming somebody crawling through a heating vent, you have to make the vent a little bigger. So, but these vents were like you could fit two people side by side crawling through, and it's again supposed to be like an old brownstone in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So
this spider grabs these victims, whatever the victim is, when it was the cockroach or when it was the rat, grabs it into a web, and that web kind of traps it until the spider's ready to eat it, drain it
and
of
the
its
web
life.
is also like acidic.
Yeah, it's like green gooey, but like
burns
thick.
you. I hate it when things burn you when you touch them.
So Charlotte figures out that the spider has an aversion to mothballs.
Yeah.
And what does an old lady's apartment have?
Lots of mothballs,
Lots
y'all.
of mothballs.
So she gets like cool, like all MacGyver-y with it.
She does.
There's a little Home Alone kind of element.
Yeah, she's the real hero here.
Charlotte rules, honestly. I mean, it's not her fault. Like she doesn't know it's a space spider.
But you see, like, infested feels, I won't say plausible, but it feels more plausible.
But there is also more of an element infested.
Arachnophobia feels plausible.
Where you can't really get around like, bro, this is all your fault.
Yeah.
You did this.
Sting is a little bit more of a fantasy
this movie is
this huge spider.
It's a silly concept.
It's like the comic book that she collaborates with her stepdad on comes to life.
It's a movie that doesn't take itself seriously, but it's not overly goofy. Like it's still a horror movie.
It's still scary.
Yeah.
There's scenes where the spider is crawling like in blurred view. You know, we have like our primary focus on some of the characters, and we see the spider come down like over the baby's crib. Like really good elements there, really good movements of the spider, you know,
it's
sound, the chittering of the legs.
This is a solid, fun, honestly, I'm glad we ended with it, because it is, if you took the adventure and the fun of Arachnophobia with the genuine horror movie elements of Infested, mashed them together, you'd get this movie.
Yeah. So what happens at the end of this film, I mean, it just came out, so I'm not going to spoil the ending because I think it's really worth it, is it leaves the door open for another.
Sure.
For a Sting 2.
But there doesn't need to be.
No. There doesn't need to be, but I will watch it if there is one.
I would too. It was a lot of fun. You know, it really, it's like 5-10 minutes into the movie, or even less, I realized like, oh, okay, just go with this one.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really well done. It's like, I'm glad that we ended up with the movies we did, because I think even within this subgenre, we managed to find 3 disparate examples.
Yeah, we have 3 levels. So beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Ooh, I'm going Arachnophobia, beginner.
Yes.
Sting, intermediate.
Absolutely.
Infested, advanced.
Yes.
Nice.
So if you want that kind of experience and you are like not, spider phobic, you can pick your poison.
Or you could be like us, 2 middle-aged wimps jumping right into Infested and
we watched Infested first.
Freaking out the whole time.
We benefited from that, I think.
So I do want to say that.
Because I think you would have put off Infested much longer if we didn't start with that.
Ultimately, my inherent bravery won the day.
Right, exactly.
But
I'm going to give this Sting 5.5 out of 8 spider legs.
Pretty good. Way to go, Sting. Walk through those fields of gold. I had so much fun.
Yeah, don't Google just Sting.
No.
You got to put like Sting 2024 movie.
And don't just Google Sting 2024 because it just comes up with like tour dates. But definitely Google Sting loincloth Dune. That
or Sting tantric.
Yeah, those are Google searches that they reward you long after you've shut your computer off. So I had so much fun doing this because I've seen so many hundreds of horror movies, and one of the reasons I stay in love with this genre is over the years I still have not grown desensitized to it. I'm still able to be shocked and scared and horrified and grossed out.
And the ending of Sting, I have to say, is one of the grosser endings of the movies that we saw.
Nice and gooey.
Yeah.
Watching something
scary.
that like it's usually when I approach a subject that scares me or discomforts me, it's usually something very intense and dark, like nuclear holocaust or sexual violence or something awful. And to just kick back and genuinely be given the heebie-jeebies and be frightened by something as simple as spiders, just, no need to think more about it. They're spiders. They're scary and gross, and they bite and do things to you. It was really
do things to
it was
you.
Just great. It was no, but that's the
I know.
part of it is spiders don't, they fucking paralyze you.
Yeah.
Then they put you in a cocoon, and then they drink your blood, or they use you as an incubator. Like, they don't just eat you. Spiders are
But
cruel.
they're afraid.
The way they kill and the way they there's no malice or inherent cruelty in it, but it is very violent and very gnarly, and by our standards, exceedingly cruel.
Yeah, they have fangs.
There's a reason so many horror monsters, aliens, creatures have their basis in the arachnid.
Yeah.
The arachnid form has made its way from everything to Starship Troopers to fucking aliens to just everything.
We talked about the mist in our last episode, and there's a huge, scary spider.
If it ain't
moment in there.
arachnid, then it's tentacles,
Yeah.
Between arachnids and tentacle monsters, it's like most of what frightens us. So I had such a great time watching things that I was afraid to watch, that scared me, that I totally avoided and put off, and came up with many dumb excuses why I couldn't do it tonight. And then, having to like sit down and really, when we watched Infested, I was did not want to. Like, I was really afraid to.
Yeah.
And it was such a fucking blast.
Well, when you, for the listener out there that may love spiders, send us a DM on our Instagram and tell us, like, what did you think of these films?
I really want to encourage folks too. I mean, within the boundaries of decency and what you would consider, like, I'm not talking about any personal traumas, but I do encourage you to, in this fun genre, watch something that you're afraid to watch. It's dope. You're not going to get hurt. It's just a movie. And at the end of it, I don't know. Like I said, within the bounds of whatever personal traumas you carry in life, I want to be respectful for that. But if you're afraid of spiders, watch some spider movies. It's actually kind of a blast.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was our episode on spiders.
And hope you liked it, because this was a lot, folks.
It was.
We suffered for this one.
I suffer a lot when it comes to like body horror.
I had no problem. Obviously, again, my stoicism and bravery and
right. You're very
my
brave,
overall
brave
like
boy.
Manly, miasma, my odor, I would say, my stench. It gosh, I just want to eat meat and kill spiders.
But we hope you enjoyed it, and we're glad to be done with it. Finally.
Okay.
Spiders. See you next time. Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Hispanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're still